Hi, it's Megan from Foothills back with another story time. I'll be reading a chapter from A Girl Called Vincent, The Life of Poet Edna St. Vincent Millay by Christina Poré-Gadu. I'm going to break form a little bit here and start in chapter 4, A Person of Intense Moods, 1907 through 1909. By the time she was 16, Vincent had written 40 poems that she considered good enough to preserve. She copied them into a brown notebook, which she titled Poetical Works of Vincent Millay. In the back, she made an alphabetical listing of the poem's titles, and next to each title, she noted how old she had been when she wrote the poem. The first poem she copied into the notebook was the award-winning The Land of Romance, that had been published soon after her 15th birthday. The subjects of Vincent's early teenage poems are like those often found in young people's writings. Some are filled with the loneliness many of us feel at that age. In others, she mourns lost loves, most likely more imagined than real, and exults in the beauty of nature's seasons. The themes of the Land of Romance continue in poems filled with fairies and moonbeams. Several are written to her mother, to whom she gave the completed volume of 61 poems in July 1908. In one of the simpler, shorter ones, she promises to always protect her mother from loneliness. The poem is called Song, and reads as though Vincent understood that however deeply she and her sisters missed their mother when she was away from them, it was probably even more difficult for her mother, who suffered alone. Dearest, when you go away, my heart will go too. Will be with you all the day, all the night with you. Where you are through lonely years, there my heart will be. I will guide you past all fears and bring you back to me. She dedicated the volume to her as well. To my mother, whose interest and understanding have been the life of many of these works and the inspiration of many more, I lovingly dedicate this little volume. EVM, July 10, 1908. Serious as she was about her poetry, Vincent also continued to find great joy in acting, piano playing, and her friendships. After her success as Susie Smith in Tris in the spring of 1907, she won the lead in the Camden Opera House's production of Gypsy the Mountain Waif, using a term that is no longer considered appropriate for the Romany people. It is the name of the work. I'm reading it in context, which opened on December 6, 1907. Vincent's exuberant approach to life found its natural outlet in the world of the theater. And her quick and sharp memory, honed by years of memorizing poetry and musical compositions, made it easy for her to learn and remember her lines. At Camden High School, it was still the girls who flocked around her, delighting in her high spirits and quick wit. One friend, Martha Knight, described Vincent as having lots of spark and spunk. She fairly snapped. Maybe too much for the Camden adolescent boys. Another high school friend, Jessie Hosmer, remembered that she was the life of the party wherever she went. When Stella Derry's mother would ask why she avoided household tasks at home but liked to wash dishes and make potato stew at the Millays, Stella told her that it was because Vincent made everything wonderful fun. She was always making up songs and games, and on walks she would make birds and plants and wildflowers as fascinating as people. Although, Stella noted, she could be a spitfire if she thought something wasn't fair. When Cora was due home from one of her jobs, word quickly got around and both boys and girls assembled to help with the cleaning. Side note, Cora is the name of Vincent's mother. The boys beat the rugs and did the heavy cleaning, while the girls washed dishes and did the lighter work. It took at least 6 girls to do the dishes, 2 washing and 4 drying, because dishes were never washed until there wasn't a clean one left. Everybody sang as they cleaned, usually a song of Vincent's composition. Helen Follett remembered that the spirit of the house was one of freedom, friendliness, live and let live. Helen was Kathleen's pal and companion, but she went to Norma, Vincent's sister, who was like a cheery flame among us, when she needed a confidant. Vincent was changeable, haughty duchess one minute and the best of companions the next. She was a person of intense moods, and the house moved at her tempo. Most of Vincent's friends came from 2 clubs she was part of, the Huckleberry Finners, a reading group, and the Genethod, a girls' Bible study group at the white-steepled Congregational Church on Elm Street that Vincent and her family attended every Sunday, though they always arrived late. The Genethod, the Welsh word for daughter, had been founded by Abby Houston Evans, daughter of the pastor, the Welsh-born Bard Lewis Derned Evans. Even though Abby was 11 years older than Vincent, she was one of her closest friends. In addition to teaching Sunday school, Abby too wrote poetry and went on to become a well-regarded poet. Even though Vincent attended services regularly and participated in the Genethod with Abby, Stella, and other good friends, like sisters Martha and Ethel Knight and Corinne Sawyer, Vincent was not a religious Christian in the traditional sense. "My God is all gods in one," she wrote in her diary on June 28, 1908. "When I see a beautiful sunset, I worship the God of nature. When I see a hidden action brought to light, I worship the God of truth. When I see a bad man punished and a good man go free, I worship the God of justice. When I see a penitent forgiven, I worship the God of mercy." She especially found God in the profound natural beauty that made her feel as though her soul was ready to burst out of her. Her prayers were the poems she would write in praise of the earth, poems like God's World, which was published in her first collection in 1917, in which she proclaimed, "Here such a passion is as stretcheth me apart. Lord, I do fear thou'st made the world too beautiful this year. My soul is all but out of me." Vincent didn't write in her diary regularly, unlike her friend Ethel Knight, who first suggested to her that she keep one. Vincent usually turned to hers when her emotions threatened to overcome her. The day after penning the words about her religious beliefs, she confessed, "I guess I'm going to explode. I know just how a volcano feels before an eruption. Mama is so cross she can't look straight. Norma's got the only decent rocking chair in the house, which happens to be mine. And Kathleen is so unnaturally good that you keep thinking she must be sick. I suppose this is an awful tirade to deliver, but it is very hard to be 16 and the oldest of 3. Vincent's spirits brightened when Cora, who had brought home a little more money than usual, planned a delicious picnic for the girls for the next day. The sisters and their friends sat in the sunshine and gorged on salmon and sardine sandwiches and bananas, then indulged their sweet tooth with cookies, strawberry shortcake, and even chocolate. "Such a lovely day as we had, and such a lovely time," Vincent wrote in her diary that night. "The supper under the trees was such fun, and the little cool breeze and the tiny new moon coming out for us to play by." And that is a selection from A Girl Called Vincent. I highly recommend checking out this book as well as her actual poetry. She revolutionized the genre and was one of the cleverest and most evocative writers of the Jazz Age and through to today.